Hi guys. I'm put at the end because I'm sort of the entertaining monkey. I'm an artist, and my thing today is about pictures as story. And you've probably all heard the saying, "Picture tells 1,000 words." You hear that in different versions, but I just want to tell you about my artistic career and how I developed as an artist, and how pictures can really be very powerful and something that you can do even if you don't think you're an artist. You'll hear as I tell you about myself how I became an artist quite late in life. And basically I had a bit of an artistic upbringing, showed some talent, but I wasn't a young genius, and my parents advised me, being sensible parents, to get into sensible careers, and I did sensible things for the first 10 years of my working life. And I got to 30 and I just basically, I reached an end of something, and I sat down in my lounge, cracked open a beer, and I said to myself, Dave, you're getting old. You've got to decide what it is you want to do. So what is it you want to do? Aside from monetary considerations, aside from what your mum and dad think, any careers advisors, what anybody else thinks is a good idea, what do you really want to do? And as I sipped on my beer, I just saw paintings around the wall, graphic novels slotted away in, all my graphic novels yet to be done, books, films on TV. I just knew I wanted to be a creative dude, and specifically I wanted to be a visual artist. So I committed myself then. Doesn't matter what happens, I'm going to be a visual artist, that's it. And you've probably all heard the old saying, if there's something that you can do or believe you can do, begin it now, because boldness carries with it genius and power. It was a tribute to Goethe, that Wolfgang Goethe, or some famous German philosopher. Actually comes from a book about climbing the Himalayas from 1953. I learnt that on Wikipedia. But it means a lot to me, and as soon as I made that move, all sorts of things fell into place. I got a great job as an art supply sales rep for a couple of years, started to learn to draw, fiddling around, and I got to a point where I realised that as an untrained artist, my work was pretty lame. But I wasn't going to give up, so I was told there was a school called Julian Ashton's in Sydney. That's a classical school, very rigorous drawing school and painting the figure. I had no money. I was never real good at making money or having jobs that paid very well, and I put it off, and then one day I'd been surfing at Byron because I come from up north there, and I just got on the phone. This was before mobiles. And rang Julian Ashton Art School, and this older gentleman answered, and it turned out to be the principal. And he never answers the phone, I know that for sure. But he answered it, and I said, look, I'm broke as, I believe I've got a talent, I really want to be a great artist. How can I go to your art school? I just don't know how I can afford it or whatever. And he says, your name's Lovegrove, is it? And he has this sort of dignified Edwardian manner about him. And I said, yeah. And he goes, you wouldn't believe this, old chap, but I'm sitting here in my lounge room now, and my great ancestor, Julian Ashton, painted a painting of a Miss Lovegrove, and I'm looking at that painting right now, and there's Miss Lovegrove. Are you a relative, perhaps? And I said, yeah. Sure, I'll be her relative. But yeah, so he said, I like the cut of your jib. If you got the courage to come here to Sydney and start, we'll see what happens. So I came down, I worked as a bouncer at the Coogee Bay Hotel for a while. I drew obsessively every day, and after a couple of months he said, old chap, you're talented, and he says, you don't have to pay. He says, you just be my bouncer. Anyone comes up to try and sneak a look at the nude models, you can send them off and sweep the place out and put the easels away, and you've got the gig. So I was there for three years, and a number of mates, coincidentally from Brisbane, young fellas, very talented guys, came down from Brisbane, and we used to draw 7 days a week, like 8 to 10 hours a day. I'd actually go home to Bondi Junction with my eyes closed because I couldn't see. I drew so much. And that's me there with hair. I had a very fashionable early 90s ponytail when I first went there, and painting one of the cast figures. But what happened was I made a pact with myself, and this is a terrible thing to do, but I've always been a reader. I started reading very early as a little fella. I love reading, and I made a pact with myself to stop reading for a year. And I sort of basically wanted to develop the sort of visual mind a person who can't read has, or, you know, some little 7-year-old dude goes to Michelangelo, please, you know, can I be your apprentice? Can't read, just starts drawing all the time. And it seems an odd thing to do, but that's what I did. As soon as I'd navigate to a book, something would say, no, comfort zone, back to drawing. Draw, draw, draw. And Michelangelo actually said to one of his young friends, my advice, draw, Antonio, draw. And again I say, draw. So that's what I did. And I, after a year, what happened was my mind expanded, and it wasn't from drugs or anything. It was something opened in my mind, like an unused area, and whatever I looked at became my toy. I could pick it up, spin it round, light it from any direction, and I found I could just draw anything from out of my imagination. What I'm going to do now, just really quickly, is show you a way that I create things out of my imagination, but getting into the right brain. And this is something that I haven't been able to find anybody else doing it on YouTube. It's an idea that's been around for a while, but it's essentially like a Rorschach test type thing. So I'm going to draw with two hands. So, can you see anything in there? Just be a child again, looking at clouds, butterflies, elephants, faces, like a profile here of a character with fuzzy hair. There's all sorts of things in there, but this is one of the ideas that I use for creating characters in film and TV. Coming up with unique characters, but also it just gets you out of the normal logical left brain zone, and you start to see things, and you come up with things that nobody else has seen before either. So you're welcome to try that at home, and would you like to have a quick try of it? Just put your fingers up. Okay, I'm giving you the secret here. Now imagine music. So that's it. Thank you.